Getting started with Atelier series can be a challenging task, especially if you are particular about playing them in the right order. The series comprises more than 24 mainline games that are divided into various arcs, and keeping track of where each game belongs can be quite overwhelming. However, with this video, you can quickly find answers to all your Atelier related questions and eliminate any confusion once and for all. Let's get started. Atelier Marie, the Alchemist of Saldburg. The first ever Atelier game. In the fictional medieval-style city of Saldburg, Marie is a 19-year-old student struggling to keep up with her peers. Her academic performance is so poor that she faces the possibility of being expelled. Fortunately, her teacher provides her with a lifeline. Marie is granted her own workshop, also known as Atelier, where she is given a 5-year deadline to create a masterpiece and redeem herself. The gameplay of this particular game revolves around the collection of ingredients, typically outside of town, followed by the creation of various items that are then utilized for quests or in battles. During battles, the player has the option of choosing up to 2 allies who, like Marie, can attack, defend, and use a powerful attack, utilize items, or flee. Atelier Ellie, the Alchemist of Saldburg 2. Atelier Ellie is a direct continuation of Atelier Marie and picks up the story 6 years after the events of the first game. Similarly to its forerunner, Atelier Ellie was exclusively released in Japan. Having been rescued by Marie, the protagonist Ellie is inspired to follow in Marie's footsteps and enroll at the same academy to pursue her dreams of becoming a renowned alchemist. As the gameplay is non-linear, the player has the freedom to guide Ellie's destiny in various directions. The game adopts an open-world approach, enabling players to make decisions that impact the progression of the game. Atelier Lilie, the Alchemist of Saldburg 3. Atelier Lilie, the final installment in Saldburg trilogy, but takes place 2 decades prior to Atelier Marie and over 25 years before Atelier Ellie. In addition to introducing new characters to the series, the game also showcases younger versions of characters from previous Saldburg games. Upon her arrival in Saldburg, the game's protagonist, Lilie, sets out to establish an alchemy academy in the kingdom. In comparison to the kingdom of El-Balder, which boasts many talented alchemists, alchemy is severely underdeveloped here in Saldburg. As the concept of alchemy is unfamiliar to Saldburg, Lilie must persuade King Shisgul of its potential benefits to the kingdom. To achieve this, she begins by working from a small workshop in town, where she enlists the help of 2 bright alchemy students from El-Balder, Hermina and Ingrid. Atelier Judie, the Alchemist of Gramnad. The first game in the Gramnad series, and is another game to be an exclusive Japan release. The story follows Judith, a talented alchemist who inherited an alchemy shop from her parents, and makes a living by creating medicines for villagers. One day, an adventurer asks her to make an item called the Hourglass of the Dragon, which can give the power of time travel. While creating it, Judith's hair falls into the cauldron, causing her to be transported 200 years into the future. In order to return to her own time, Judith must find a way to recreate the hourglass while facing various obstacles. Atelier Judie simplified stat systems and introduced new RPG elements such as isometric field and dungeon exploration. The synthesis system was revamped, allowing players to substitute materials and introducing the trait system, which became an important gameplay feature in later games. Atelier Viorate, The Alchemist of Gramnad 2. The game takes place 20 years after Atelier Judie and 1 year after Atelier Ellie. Viorate lives with her family in Carrot Village, which is sparsely populated. However, her parents are leaving Viorate in charge of her own destiny. She has a dream about opening a shop, and with her brother's encouragement, Viorate decides to remain in the village and pursue her dream. Despite her father's objections, Viorate opens a shop and has 3 years to prove that she can run it before her parents return. In the game, the primary objective is to manage a store and boost the population of Carrot Village. The game begins with a 3-year time limit, but players have the possibility to obtain a 2-year extension. Atelier Iris, Eternal Mana. Eternal Mana is set in Regelzin, a world shaped by alchemy and mana. South S. Viorate, where the game is based, is no longer under the control of King Slaith, with each city-state governing itself. Avonberry, an alchemist city from centuries past, is tied to Regelzin's destiny, but its secrets remain locked away. Alchemists today are few, with many studying the work of Iris, a pre-Avonberry alchemist, and searching for new artifacts and mana. The protagonist, Klein Kiesling, is an alchemist who becomes embroiled in a girl's fate and ultimately the fate of the world. Atelier Iris has a turn-based battle system and is tactical in nature, where party members can be positioned before a battle. Combatants choose actions from a command ring, and defeated enemies yield experience, gold, and items.
Don't oh hello me.
Atelier Iris, the Azoth of Destiny. We follow the characters Felt and Vi, both alchemists in training, on the peaceful floating continent of Eden, where alchemists and mana coexist. When Vi becomes a full-fledged alchemist, they travel to a forest where she can form a bond with a mana. During their visit, an earthquake rocks Eden, causing massive destruction and unleashing monsters. Felt pulls out the legendary sword, the Azure Azoth, and hears a voice instructing him to journey to the Altena Church in Belkide to save Eden from further catastrophe. Atelier Iris 2 features 2 playable characters, switchable characters Felt and Vi. Felt handles exploration and combat, while Vi performs synthesis to create items and plays a supportive role, making switching between them essential for progression. Atelier Iris, Grand Phantasm. Atelier Iris 3 is set in the city of Meruru, which is similar to Venice with its water channels and portals to other dimensions called Altar Worlds. Iris, Edge, and Nell works as raiders for the Raiders Guild, completing missions into the Altar Worlds or other tasks. The story follows the team as they rise through the guild's ranks while searching for 8 gem-like fragments to release the power of a sealed book that Iris possesses. Players will guide a party of adventurers through the central hub of Zemizur. Quests obtained from the Raiders Guild in town must be completed to progress through the game. A timer counts down when the party moves to an altar world to complete a task, requiring the party to complete the quest before it expires. Alchemy plays a significant role in the game. With Iris combining items in the party's workshop to create new items, equipment, and weapons for combat. Mana Khemia, the Alchemist of Al-Rvis. The story revolves around Vayne Aurelius, a hermit who lives with his cat-like mana, Sulfur. Zeppel, one of the professors at the Al-Rvis Academy, invites Vayne to join the academy for alchemy training. The game takes place during the 3 years Vayne attends the school. as he learns about his past and the world with his friends. However, a dark force begins to target Vayne, causing him to become aware of his importance. Mana Khemia features an alchemy wheel which allows players to adjust the quality of ingredients to alter the final item's properties. There are no experience points or character levels, but bonuses are tied to completing recipes for specific items. The game is presented as a series of terms at a school, each made up of several weeks with courses, free time, and odd jobs. Failure to make a decent grade by the end of courses results in detention, but free time allows players to talk with characters and perform side quests. Mana Khemia 2 Fall of Alchemy. Mana Khemia 2 features two main characters, Ryza and Ulrika, who can be chosen at the start of the game or during New Game Plus. The game takes place 15 years after the first game, with Al-Rvis Academy in danger of collapsing and both mana and alchemy on the decline. Ryza is a sword fighter uninterested in alchemy, while Ulrika enrolls in Al-Rvis due to her mana egg despite her lack of knowledge in alchemy. Ryza's storyline is more serious and focuses on his past, while Ulrika's is more comical and explores the origins of mana. Like the earlier game, this game has no levels, but instead, players rely on grow books to improve character stats.
Done it.
Atelier Rorona, the Alchemist of Arland. The game is set in the city of Arland, which is undergoing industrialization while still using ancient technology. The main character, Rorona Frixel, Rorona for short, is indebted to a master alchemist named Astrid Zexis and is forced to work for her. Sturk, a knight of Arland, visits the alchemy workshop and informs Rorona that it will be shut down unless she can prove its ability to function in the city's economy. To achieve this, Rorona must pass 12 examinations over the course of 3 years. Atelier Rorona gameplay is divided into 3 parts: alchemy, errands in Arland, and adventuring. Time management is a key aspect of the game, which takes place over 3 years divided into 12 assignments, each lasting 90 days.
Please. How many times?
Atelier Totori, the Adventurer of Arland. Atelier Totori takes place 5 years after Atelier Rorona, following the story of Totori Helmond, Rorona's student who is looking for her missing mother. After finding a starving Rorona collapsed on their doorstep, Totori is taught alchemy and becomes her student. Believing that her mother is still alive, Totori travels to Arland to become an adventurer and search for her, improving her alchemy and exploring the world in the process. Atelier Meruru, the Apprentice of Arland. Arland sends Totori Helmond, a skilled alchemist, to Arles to introduce the practice of alchemy. Totori sets up a small workshop on the outskirts of the town. Princess Meruru Reed Arles develops an interest in alchemy and starts visiting Totori to learn more about it. Totori becomes known as Miss Totori and is considered a mentor by Princess Meruru. Atelier Meruru features the cost-turn battle system, where a character's speed and actions affect when their turn will come next. Also, during synthesis, 2 traits can now combine to form more powerful or multifaceted traits, but at a higher cost. Atelier Ayesha, the Alchemists of Dusk. Atelier Ayesha follows the story of Ayesha Altugal, who runs a herbalist's workshop with her sister Neo. After Neo disappears mysteriously, Ayesha meets an alchemist who informs her that she must learn the art of alchemy to save her sister, but time is limited. A new world separate from the Arland saga serves as the setting for Atelier Ayesha, where the art of alchemy was once prevalent but is now shrouded in secrecy. Atelier Ayesha has no systematic objectives, and the player must make their own choices to progress the story. Combat is turn-based and the fastest character goes first. The diary allows the player to look back on the story and obtain bonus rewards by using points earned from completing objectives.
Logy, I'd like to formally
Atelier, Escha, and Logy, Alchemist of the Dusk Sky. Atelier, Escha, and Logy, Alchemists of the Dusk Sky, takes place in a distant land to the west of the setting of Atelier Ayesha, about 4 years after the events of the previous game. Escha and Logy are two new alchemists hired by the local administration to work in their research and development department. As they learn about their new jobs, they make new friends and allies while uncovering the secrets of nearby ruins and assisting the people in a world still recovering from a catastrophic event known as the Dusk. The game Atelier, Escha, and Logy features two playable protagonists, and while the main story is the same, certain events and endings are exclusive to each character. The game introduces a new synthesis system, allowing players to combine different items, with Escha and Logy using different tools to synthesize.
This goes well.
Atelier, Shallie, Alchemist of the Dusk Sea. The game's story is set 10 years after the beginning of Atelier Ayesha and 6 years after the beginning of Atelier, Escha, and Logy. The story begins in an oasis town that is suffering from a lack of water, causing plants to wilt and animals to go hungry. Shalistera and Shalot are two alchemists with different methods of making a living who meet in the town. Shalistera is trying to save her village from demise, while Shalot is working towards becoming a proper alchemist. After meeting, the two work together to fulfill their goals. Atelier Shallie differs from the previous Atelier games in that it does not feature a time limit. Instead, the story progresses through a task system, with the player completing main tasks for each chapter before entering a free time phase. This phase only ends when a certain number of points are obtained by completing optional tasks. Once the free time phase is finished, the game moves on to the next chapter. The player can advance at their own pace during any of the phases.
Monica, will you come gathering with me?
Atelier, Sophie, the Alchemist of the Mysterious Book. The first game of the Mysterious storyline. It revolves around the life of Sophie, a young and inexperienced alchemist who runs an atelier on the outskirts of Kirchenbell. Sophie discovers a talking book named Plakta, who has lost almost all of her memories involving alchemy. Sophie takes on the responsibility of helping Plakta recover her memories by writing down alchemy recipes. Atelier Sophie is a fantasy turn-based RPG with heavy emphasis on item creation and exploration. It takes place in a highly stylized third-person open-world setting illustrated with cel-shaded visuals. In this game, the player controls a party of up to 4 characters, traversing the world collecting ingredients for synthesis while discovering new recipes for item creation. The player is capable of accepting randomized requests, which serve as side quests in order to gain money and rare resources.
Thank you.
It's always
Atelier Firis, the Alchemist and the Mysterious Journey. Continuing the mysterious storyline, we follow the story of Firis, a young girl residing in the isolated mining town of Ertona, revolving around her longing to explore the world beyond her hometown. Firis meets Sophie and Plakta, the main characters of the previous game, and learns the fundamentals of alchemy. Firis is granted permission to leave the village with her sister Liane, but with a catch. She must successfully pass the Alchemist certification exam within a year, or she will be required to return home. Atelier Firis places a significant emphasis on exploration, material gathering, and tool-based interactions in vast open fields. As the game progresses, players can unlock new tools to travel faster and interact more effectively with the environment. The primary objective is to reach Saldburg within 365 days, and time passes as the player character moves around and performs actions. Once the player has passed the exam, they are no longer restricted by time. The secondary goal is for Firis to explore the world until she finds a promising future.
I can't carry it.
Atelier, Lydie and Swell, the Alchemist, and the Mysterious Paintings. Atelier, Lydie and Swell is set 8 years after Atelier Sophie and 4 years after Atelier Firis. The game follows twin alchemists Lydie and Swell Marlin, who work at their family atelier with their father. Due to their father's inexperience, they have few customers, but their passion for alchemy leads them to discover a mysterious painting, which takes them on an adventure to run a successful atelier. Along the way, they encounter a variety of extraordinary experiences and materials that help them in their alchemy pursuits. Atelier, Lydie and Swell places players in control of the titular twin alchemists as they explore the game's world, fight monsters, and undertake quests to boost their atelier's reputation. Players can receive quests from different NPCs across the game's world, unlocking secrets and abilities concerning the mysterious paintings that they came across. Atelier Online, Alchemist of Brazil. Atelier Online, Alchemist of Brazil takes place on an island where alchemy is gradually becoming obsolete. To tackle this, an academy is established to educate a new generation in different scientific fields. The game follows an apprentice alchemist raised by the academy staff, who embarks on a journey with friends to find the pyroxene of wisdom and recipe books for the ultimate alchemy item. Throughout their journey, the protagonist faces different challenges, people, and monsters while exploring different regions of Brazil. Nelk and the Legendary Alchemists, Ateliers of the New World. The Atelier 20th Anniversary title is a game that envisions building an atelier town with the help of legendary alchemists. The game intends to blend a slice of life ambience that comes with residing in a town and interacting with various characters, and the thrill of successfully managing a town and expanding your world. It is a niche game catering to the Atelier fanbase with limited widespread appeal. This spin-off title, unlike the main series, focuses on building a town while searching for an ancient relic instead of crafting items and growing an atelier. Atelier Lulua, the Scion of Arland. This is a sequel to the Arland trilogy series, where the primary character Lulua Frixel is the daughter of the first Arland game's protagonist, Rorona Frixel. Set several years after Atelier Meruru. The game's theme is inheritance, and it features new synthesis, battle, and exploration systems influenced by the more recent Mysterious trilogy, in addition to similar gameplay as the previous Arland series. Atelier Ryza, Ever Darkness and the Secret's Hideout. The game's storyline revolves around Ryza, a young girl residing on Kirken Island who yearns for adventure. One summer day, she discovers an abandoned rowboat and decides to embark on a journey to the mainland with her companions. Along the way, they rescue the daughter of a traveling merchant and encounter an alchemist, which sparks Ryza's interest in learning alchemy and embarking on new adventures. Ultimately, they uncover the truth about her home, leading to unforeseen adventures. It follows much of the same gameplay formula from previous installments, but Atelier Ryza allows players to customize the appearance of their atelier, including the interior walls, exterior walls, floor, roof, terrace, and rug, with several theme options to choose from, each with unique bonus effects that vary from weather conditions to rare appearances. The hideout's interior features a sofa, bed, and table that players can also customize, with some options differing from exterior customizations. Atelier Ryza 2: Lost Legends and the Secret Fairy, a direct sequel to Atelier Ryza Everdarkness and the Secret Hideout. Set 3 years after the events of Atelier Ryza, the game's protagonist, Ryza, has continued to teach alchemy to the children of Kirken Island, but feels that her skills have reached a plateau. Certain events motivate her to travel to the capital city of Ajra-Amberd, where she reunites with her old friends and discovers a mysterious fairy-like creature. The game features gameplay similar to the previous installment, but with the addition of new abilities for the titular character, such as swimming, climbing, using grappling hooks on trees, and riding monsters. Players can also slide and crawl through dungeons and areas, and the game introduces new and expanded abilities such as lightning attacks.
僕もちょっとだけ鍛えてるんだよね。
ほんでね、昔の記憶をなくして
Atelier Sophie 2: The Alchemist of the Mysterious Dream, the fourth entry in the Mysterious sub-series. Atelier Sophie 2 is a game set chronologically between the events of Atelier Sophie and Atelier Firis, continuing the story of Sophie and Plakta after the events of the first game. After leaving Kirchenbell, where they discover a giant tree similar to one Plakta saw in a dream, they are pulled inside a mysterious vortex. Sophie wakes up alone in a new world, where she hears about an alchemist named Plakta living on the outskirts of town. To her surprise, she finds a young alchemy enthusiast with the same name as her friend, who doesn't recognize her. Along the way, Sophie meets Ramazal Erlenmeyer, an aspiring alchemist who agrees to help her.
ちょっと色々あってな。
そん
火を生成する鍵。
Atelier Ryza 3: Alchemist of the End and the Secret Key, the third game in Ryza's story, sets a year after the previous game's events. Atelier Ryza 3 sees the emergence of strange islands around the world, leading Ryza and her friends on a new adventure to investigate. The game features vast landscapes for players to explore and delve deeper into the history of alchemy and alchemists. The gameplay is similar to the previous installments, but with a new feature centered around the usage of keys, which will play an important role in the story, gathering, and synthesis. Additionally, the game will focus on 4 major open-world style areas. And we reach the end of the list. It's amazing to see how the series has evolved over time. If you liked the video, you might want to check out our videos discussing each game in the Final Fantasy franchise and the Legends of Heroes series.